Hey, my name's Oliver Henderson and this is how to build a gaming PC. Let's get started. Righto, let's get started then. So I'm going to link everything that we're using here in the description. We've got a GPU, RAM, hard drive. This is our motherboard here. We've got a CPU, our power supply, our case, and just all the extra power supply cables we'll need to power everything. And then we've got a monitor here. So first of all, clean off all your area where you're going to work. So first of all, we take the thumb screws at the end of the both side panels, and then we remove both side panels as so. Inside the case, we'll find all our ports and everything to put everything through. All these cables, we'll just route them out the back for now. First thing we need to do is we need to get our power supply, which is this the thing with the green stickers on it. In this case, the power supply has vents down the bottom for it to breathe through, and the fan, so then that'll go up this way. So the sticker will be facing upwards, and you slide in like so. Come around here, and there's holes, so you put the screws in. Put it on the end of your screwdriver like this, and then you just put it into where the holes are, line them all up, just drop the screw. Done one, you got 4 more to go. So get the screws to go on, would be nice. So after this, we'll be running the power, because in this case we have a place where we can route our motherboard and CPU power cables. We'll be routing that round the back, and I'll show you in a second. So these are the 2 cables here. We get these 2. One has 8 pins on the end, like this, and the other one has 24. So at this stage, we're just going to get the 8 pin and this 24 pin, and they get round a big hole at the bottom. So they'll be out the back now, as so. And then what we do is we'll be putting the motherboard in next. Right, so the first thing we're going to do, this is the motherboard right here, this thingy. Well, when you're handling it, try not to touch this bit here. Try hold on to the heat sinks or the little ports very lightly. So first thing we do is we will be grabbing this, as so. This here is our CPU. It'll be in a little packet like this. Just open the packet up, grab the CPU out, try not to touch all the pins on the back, and then there's a little arm on the CPU right here. What we do is we push gently down on here, lift this arm up, and this will expose all the pins. Now what we do is we line up the little cutout in this corner here and the other one with the little cutouts which are on these 2 corners. So they just sit and you drop it like this very lightly. Give it a bit of a wriggle just so it sits properly. Then you pull this arm down, pop the little thing under, and then gently push down, and that plate should pop off. If you ever have to take your motherboard back for warranty, keep this, it is very important. So the next thing we'll do is we're going to put some thermal compound. This stuff here, in this little tube, this is so the CPU and this CPU cooler right here, so they touch right and they hold together. So you just need a little tiny pea size on here, just like that. You do not need that much. So next of all, we get the motherboard like this, and we get the CPU cooler. It just sits down in all these holes like this, and what you do is you need to push them in until they click. Be gentle because the motherboard is quite not that solid. So just get the motherboard like this. A nice thing to do this on is either an anti-static mat like I've got here, or you can do it on the motherboard box. That'll protect it. And you just have to push these four corners of these things in, which I'll do now. Now that we've got our CPU cooler stuck on, it's nice and solid. Now we'll be getting our RAM sticks. These are these things. So what we want to do is you put in this first slot here, you make sure it sits in, line the line in the middle of this up here with the line just here. I'm going to make sure those line up, and then you just put one stick in and a bit in, just drop it in like that, softly, gently push down on each side so it clicks. Do the same with the other one. For this board we're only using 2 sticks, so you'll put them in the 2 different slots like this. What I mean by that is they're both locked in. See how we're going to leave one in the middle, because this will be RAM slot 1, 2, 3 and 4, so we've got to make sure we've got them in like properly like that. Cool. Next thing we do is we get this thing. It's called the IO shield. It sits to stop the motherboard from getting any stuff in between all the IOs and ports and stuff. So that just sits there. You need to use a bit of force on this. Push it in nice and securely so it sits in properly. So what we'll be doing next is we'll be getting our motherboard, as so, and we'll be sitting it down on these standoffs here. In our motherboard we've got these little gold things that it sits on, so then we line them up with the little standoffs, and then we get a screwdriver, which is here, and our screw. And we put that in the motherboard as so. This. So then we line it up, we put our screw in the hole, do it up nice and securely, and then we put them all in all our other IOs. I'll just do that and I'll be back. Right, so I've got all our screws back in, they're all nice and secure, motherboard's all attached very solidly. Next thing we do is we get this thing here. This is our fan header for our CPU, and there'll be a little thing here called labelled CPU fan. You probably can't see that, but it's labelled CPU fan. You just put that, plug those pins into that. All good to go. And now, what we'll be doing, we'll be getting our hard drive. This is a 1 terabyte hard drive. I'll link everything in the description so you can have a look at it, check it out if you'd like. And you just take it out. And take this thing out. For this one, it's you don't have to use any screws. It just sits in like this. So I'll put it down over here. So the ports will be facing backwards on this, so it fits in the case properly, and cable management. So it'll sit like this, and they just click in together. There we go. Just put this in the back in here again. There we go. Nice click. Now, next thing we're going to do, this here is our fan in the back of the case, just here. This has a 3-pin connector, so we're going to be running this to our closest system header, which will be this one at the bottom of the case here. So we're going to plug that in there. And these cables, we don't want them in the way or anything, so we're just going to wire them in between the stuff here, just so it looks nice. There we go. And now we're going to come over here to our GPU. This just slots in here. See, I've taken the 2 screws out for this lane because that's where this lane lines up with it. So what we do here is we just put that there, wait for the gentle click, there we go, it's just dropped in there, perfect. And then there's 2 screw holes here, so we'll put 2 screws in there. I'll be back just after I've done this. Okay, there we go, we've got our GPU nice and secure, it's nice solid in there. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to stand our case up. So now we're behind the case, we're going to be getting this one here. All these cables are a bit of a mess at the moment. We'll do all these later. Now, what we need to do is we get this one here. This one's our 8-pin, this will power the CPU. What we do is we go up here and we push that through that little slot there. Then we come in here and our 8-pin just pulls through and it plugs into our power connector up there. Just like that. Then we'll pull it down so we've got no slack in there, so it looks nice. Next of all, we'll get our 24-pin here and we'll route it. We've got to work out which hole we need it through. So we'll be going through this top one here, and this one just flips around like this, flips around the other way, and just pushes in here as so. There we go. Next of all, what we're going to do is we'll come back around here. These are all our cables here. So what we will be doing is, for this one here, this is a USB 3 header. This will be going through this one here, and it turns around 180 degrees. So I probably shouldn't be doing this that way. Yeah, I'm really sorry if this quality isn't very good, guys. This is my first video on my YouTube channel and I haven't done this before. So can you please leave in the comments what you think of it, what I can improve, what can I do to improve it. Thanks. So just plug this port in here. Okay, we've got that through now. So then we'll come around this side. And this is this one here. So we're going to pull that tight. And these cables, what we need to do, we need these things here, the cable ties. What we do is, for cable management, as we can see here, all our ports, what we need to do is, these cables here, we want to make them look nice. So what we do, we'll cable tie these together, just so they're nice and tidy for later when we have more. I recommend just trimming the cable ties off when you're finished. It's a lot easier and you don't have to keep getting pair of scissors out. On this motherboard, on this case, sorry, it has these little standoffs here, so you can put your cable tie behind there, and then you can route your cables and then run them, which is really good. That's why I quite like the better cases than just the cheap ones and like PC builds. So you can pull that tie and it's just all out the way like that. For this PC, you see how we've got all our cables here, and we've got our hole here to route them through, but our power supply is covering that. And they'll run up here to all our cable things. So for this, we're going to have to move our power supply out a little bit. You don't have to take the whole thing out of the case, you just move it around a bit. And then we get all these cables. This is the funnest part of building computers, cable management and plugging in front connectors. It's really boring. Back in a sec. So what we do here, we'll grab all of our cables just like this, make sure we've got them nice together, and we're just going to put them all through this hole here, and we'll deal with them all on the other side and see what we're doing. Hey guys, so we're back, and so we've got all our cables here. This is always fun. So we've got HD audio, we've got AC97. We do not need this one. This is not important. So we just need to get our HD audio, and now we have a look on the bottom of the motherboard. I recommend with all these cables here, just getting them all branched out so you can know what you're working with. So we've got a HD audio, and that's this port here. You might need to go back to your motherboard manual to have a look and see where all your ports are. It's always helpful, but for this board it's labelled quite clearly, so I'll be right. Next of all, we'll grab all these ones. This next big one here is USB 2. So this one will be going in one of our USB 2 headers. That's this one here. Just plug that in. People do say you need to be very gentle with computer parts. You do, but it's not as bad as I think. You can like put a bit of force into pushing things in. You don't need to worry about it completely snapping in half from there. It should be fine. But you should take very good precautions because things can happen. So, all our front connector ports, which we need to wire these into, are just here, right in here. So, for this part, we have all our connectors here. Like, so these ones are power LED. These ones here is a power switch. This one here is a reset switch, I think. Yep. So these need to be all plugged in. You might need to have a look at your motherboard guide to see where they go in. All of our ones are going in this very corner here, down here. Just over here. So reset switch goes bottom, like it shows in the little thing there. If I can get these cables that way. We go reset switch, and then we'll go with the power switch, which goes in the one above it. Then we'll have our hard drive LED. That's the one just next to the bottom one here. Then the top one's power LED. So these two just need to be plugged in there. These can be very hard to plug in, so you do need to stick it to get them in properly. Make sure they're all lined up. There we go. All done. So what we do now is we come around to the back and we'll pull these cables tight. These ones here. Just so they look nice. We've got to pull them around that for this case. All PC cases will be different, so you do need to have a look and see how everything works before you do start working on them. Then we'll put our power supply back in place. Just for this one I've just rotated it, so we're back in a minute. Right, so now we've pulled our cables tight. What we need to do is, well, we need to be screwing our screws back in for our power supply. Now, we do the hard drive. We just plug that into this port here, like that, and then the other end is going to run round to this side of the PC into our SATA, which is behind the GPU there. So what it does, it just goes through here and just clicks into that hole there. So next we plug in our SATA cable into the power supply, and the one labelled PCIe, the peripheral one, just there, clicks in. Then we'll wire that around the back. As so. And then we have a PCIe one that plugs in there as well. Like that. This This one here, our PCIe, that'll be running to our GPU. This one's here, our SATA, which will be running to our hard drive. That just clicks in like that. Just hide that underneath. Doesn't need to be seen. Then we'll run our PCIe through this one here, I think. Yep, run up and over here. You probably can't see that, but just need a wire through there. So the 6 pin will go into the 6 pin slot there, and the 8 pin will go into the 8 pin slot. Be back in a second. Now I'll just put a couple of cable ties around the back and we'll be ready to have a test boot. Let's go. Well, finished project. Looks pretty good actually. I've got all the cable management done. I've put everything back together. We'll set safety powers on. Let's go. Right, so we've got it all set up and let's give it a test boot then, eh? Fan spin, lights up, good start. There we go. Well, I'm just going to go install Windows then and we'll be back in a minute. So we've got Windows 10 installed and I've done all the display drivers and everything. Let's see how she looks. Has just been installing updates, so it was always going to take a while to load. There we go. Perfect. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed. Twitter and Instagram links are in the description. Thanks. See you next time.